Hey everyone, welcome to today's class on increasing your focus and your productivity. I'm here with Barb Hubbard, who is a life coach and ADHD specialist to really help us hone in on the skills that we need to make our week more successful. I also have a Young Living business where I teach and distribute essential oils. So we're also going to talk about how essential oils can complement the skills that Barb is going to teach us, and we can really rock out this week to be super productive and achieving our goals as we really intend to, but all the stuff gets in the way. So I'm going to turn it over to Barb. She's going to get us rolling and help us figure out how to avoid those distractions and stay on track.
Perfect. Thank you, Paula. So I am Barb Hubbard, and I am a life coach and ADHD specialist. I have been working with people who have ADHD since before it was really a thing. I've been working with people for over 20 years. My husband has it, my daughter has it, and I have a background in special education. So I've worked with many children and parents who have ADHD or just have issues focusing and being productive and getting done what they intend to get done each day. So I have a list of several little tips and tricks to get us started and get us going for how to be more productive. So I'm going to jump right in with my first tip, which is to know yourself better. And by that, I simply mean that you are unique and you aren't going to be able to do things exactly the same way as somebody else. And so if you learn about yourself and what works for you, you can be much more successful. And I have a couple examples for this one. My favorite is night owl or early bird. Which one are you? So Paula, which one are you, night owl or early bird?
I'm mostly an early bird, but if I'm up and I get that second wind, I could really keep going, but those nights won't last all week.
Right.
I really think clearly first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I am very much an early bird too. Even back in college, I preferred to go to bed earlier, get a good night's sleep, and get up at 5 a.m. and work on a paper or study for a test. And I've been that way all my life. And so knowing that about myself really helps me to structure my day. I know that I need to get those emails done early in the morning, hopefully. If I put it off and I don't respond to people until later in the day, it may not happen. The other things that I try to do early on is some self-care. I try to schedule connect meetings, Zoom meetings, all those things somewhat earlier in the day when I still have the energy to work on it. Now, if you're a night owl, you might do best working on some of those things at night. There's no reason we can't do emails at night. You know, people will get them when they get them. So knowing that about yourself can really help you structure your day. The other example of know yourself better is, are you a marathoner or a sprinter? These terms, by the way, come from Gretchen Rubin's book called Better Than Before. She says that a marathoner is someone who likes to think things through. They work maybe a little bit each day or work for a long period of time. They might need to sit on an idea and kind of percolate through the idea before they get to work. Versus a sprinter, who is someone who likes to work at the last minute. And it's not just because they're procrastinating and they put it off, but they truly get more done and they benefit from the pressure of that time crunch. So they do things at the last minute because that clarity comes at the last minute for them. So which one do you think you are, Paula?
I think I'm more the sprinter. At the last minute, I know when there's a deadline, I won't continue to overthink it.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest challenge. It's just like when I was pregnant and nesting. Like, okay, this is happening and I got to get it done.
Yeah.
Same thing with when I schedule my day and I know I have to leave to go to a meeting or pick up the kids or whatever I'm doing that hour before, it's done. It's crossed off the list because time's up.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to decide.
And I'm the same way. I'm definitely a sprinter. When I have a presentation to do or some big, like a blog post, something like that, that requires a lot of thought, I have to have that deadline in order to get it done every time. And knowing this about yourself can really help you to schedule. So if you know that you have a presentation, you want a block of time to work on that the day of or the day before, and you can schedule that into your calendar. Also, it releases some guilt. So many people say, no, you got to spend more time. You got to start early. Don't procrastinate. But if you know this about yourself, you know that you're not procrastinating. You're waiting for the right moment when the thoughts will come to you clearly. So if you know this about yourself, you don't have to feel guilty about it. And that in and of itself is helpful in accomplishing things and being productive. So those are my examples for know yourself better. I have many, many more that I go through with people. But I'm going to move on to my second tip, which is to know your strengths. So there are many quizzes and assessments out there that will have you look at your passions, your gifts, your strengths. The favorite one for me is called viacharacter.org. It's VIA character.org. And they have it's about a 15-minute quiz. It's free. And you find out things like, what is a strength for you? Honesty, kindness, teamwork, leadership, creativity, curiosity, humor. There's 24 different strengths that they have assembled through lots and lots of research. And if you know what your strengths are, it can boost your energy. So I have a great example of this with a friend of mine who took this quiz and found out that her top character strength is creativity. And I thought, oh, she's going to be more creative in her business. She's going to use this to set up tables at vendor fairs or to create really fun newsletters. But that's not actually what she did. She decided that she needed 15 or 20 minutes every morning to use in a creative way. And she scheduled this into her calendar. So she loves to paint and to sew and to color, all these very creative things. And she found that just like your morning coffee, she would do something creative for 15 or 20 minutes, and then she would be off for her day. It boosted her energy in just an amazing way. And if she got stuck partway through the day, the afternoon lull, she would go back and do something creative for a few minutes, and then the energy returned. So I tried it out with a couple of my clients, but also for myself. And I found that it really works. If you tap into what your strengths are, it can really boost your energy, and that can help you focus, and it can help you be more productive through your day. So Paula, do you have any ideas of what your strengths may be or something that boosts your energy in that way?
I haven't thought of it in the way of boosting my energy, but I have done the strength test with my coworkers and my team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really eye-opening because it showed strengths that my team members had that I didn't realize or didn't know, or they didn't have the opportunity to demonstrate. So when they showed those strengths, and many of those strengths were some of my weaknesses, it made it easier to be able to ask them for help and be able to, they were great at this, I didn't like it, and I was not asking them to help me with this because of how I felt about that task or that project, because I felt I would be burdening them by letting or asking them to take it on, when in fact when I find out, oh, that's their strength, they would loved it, they thrive, I saw their increased energy by doing the things that they actually love. And as you mentioned earlier on letting go of the guilt, that let go of the guilt for me to ask for help, because most of us don't ask for help. And especially when we think, oh, we're bothering someone or we're burdening someone. When people are really great at certain other strengths, they are honored that you've asked for that help. You let go of the guilt of asking them, and they get so energized and excited about it too.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely, yes.
It really is. So, all right, so my third tip is about to-do lists and priorities. So I separate to-do lists in a different way than a lot of people. I create a master to-do list, and I actually call it a brain dump. So a brain dump is when you take everything in your head that you have to do for family, for work, for any, your kids, anything that is going on in your life, and you dump it all into one piece of paper or, on your computer, on your phone. And the benefit of this is that it gets it out of your head. So especially when you're having trouble sleeping and you've got a lot of ideas and you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to remember in the morning, it's really helpful just to write it down. And then okay, I don't have to think about that anymore. I'm going to come back to it the next day and it'll be there and I'll remember to do it. So that is a brain dump. And the problem that I see a lot of people fall into is that they think that is their to-do list. And it really isn't. It is all the things they have to do. But your to-do list really should be a few things that you can manageably accomplish during the day. So I take my brain dump list, which is kind of a master list, and I put what I really need to do that day on a tiny little sticky note. Today I have 5 things, and I already have one crossed off. So that is manageable. I can keep that sticky note in front of me at my desk. Sometimes instead of a sticky note, I'll make a list on my phone because I'm going places and I need it in front of me. But that keeps the priorities in front of me. It makes sure that I get to 3 or 5 things each day that are most important to get done. And the rest I'll get to. I've written it down. I will do it another day. Sometimes things stay on my brain dump list for a long time. And, after a while, I'm like, okay, I really need to make this one a priority because it's been there for a couple months. But I get to it. And each day I do a few things. And each day I feel good at the end of the day that I accomplished some things that were most important to me. So that is my tip and trick about to-do lists and priorities. It really is about what is most important instead of getting caught up in email and phone call and you get to the end of the day and you're not really sure where the time went. If you have your little list of priorities in front of you, you will likely get several of them done.
I love that it's little because you're restricted.
Yes.
And you can't go beyond that. And then just really focusing on what are those 5. I do mine digitally. So yes, my reminder dump list of tasks is gigantic. But I think what I really need to do is pick those top 5 and make those today's reminder dates, and then push the other ones for later so that I'm only getting reminded of these 5, not getting that reminder, you have 36 tasks to do.
Yes. Well, and I think you start to ignore it, right? You know, when you have so many, it flashes in front of you and then it's out of your mind. And we definitely get into times where we're just putting out fires all day. You know, our kids need us, our doctors, we have to make calls, or the dentist, or we have other stuff going on. But if you have just a couple things that you can get to each day, your mindset is different and you feel good and the guilt is gone. We're back to that guilty feeling. The guilt is gone because you can at least cross off a couple of your priorities for the day.
Yeah. And I think, many entrepreneurs or high achievers are like, 5 things. Like, that's wimpy. Like, why would I only choose 5? We're going to get a whole lot done, but like you said, those fires pop up or something need to move us in the other direction, that we still need to have the way to still accomplish those 5, no matter what else comes into the day. Staying on track or getting those back into accomplishment by the end of the day when it is those 5 is more doable than, the top 20 that I'm trying.
Yes. Well, and I think it's good to notice too, is it 5 phone calls or is it 5 big tasks? Because if it's just 5 phone calls, maybe you can put 6 or 7 things on your list. But for example, I want to work on my newsletter, right? That's going to take a couple hours. It doesn't hold the same amount of weight or the same amount of time as a phone call.
Right.
And so some days I put 2 or 3 things on my list. Other days I get through my list by 3 o'clock and I'm feeling great and I add some more. So it's just more manageable to have about 5.
Absolutely. When you can simplify it, it does help you focus, because then you're not distracted by, maybe this should be my thing to do. Maybe I should be working on marketing. Maybe I should be working on my accounting for my business. Maybe I should be working on customer service. There's so many areas that tug us in other directions. And of course, our family and other volunteer work too take some shuffling into our day.
Yes.
So I think this is a good time to transition into how do you add oils into finding that focus and increase productivity. For me, using essential oils has an impact on my body. So when I put a drop on my skin is going to absorb it, and it's going to work all throughout the cells of my body. Or when I'm smelling an essential oil, whether it's just smelling it from the bottle, or whether it's actually putting it into like a diffuser. Oh, that's really bright on the screen. Into a diffuser, so that it's going all throughout the room and creating this scent. And there's many different ways that you can do that. Personally, I start every day with frankincense. Frankincense is my focus. It is my calming, grounding, kind of help me be really intentional. So I'm using this as I'm having my morning cup of coffee and as I'm reading my scripture to focus on for the day. Then I'm setting my intentions for the day. Frankincense is made from tree resin, and it's very earthy, woodsy kind of scent to it. So that alone just helps calm your body. Sometimes though I don't want to smell totally earthy, so I will actually add something a little bit more uplifting, like lemon or citrus fresh to it. They have happy, inspiring notes to it, so it's a little bit more uplifting. So many days I will start with getting focused and being happy about it, putting the combination together, whether it's putting, a drop of each into my palm and then breathing that in or rubbing that in to my neck or arm, or putting that combination into my diffuser. Really sets the tone to put in place. And as you mentioned, being a morning person, that's when I get my best focus. So it's beneficial for me to use these extra tools to really hone in on that, where it's affecting the portion of my brain that's related to scent and emotion, and really helping me push all those distractions away. So now I know I need to do 5 things, not 20, when I'm working on that piece, and try to do that. The other piece of focus for me is sometimes we are doing things that are scary. They're new, we don't necessarily have the confidence on what we're doing because they are new, or we're learning new skills or training, or doing things that are outside of our comfort zone. So for me, using Valor, adding a drop of Valor on my wrist, breathing that in before I'm going to do a presentation, or wearing it even as my perfume. It is my oil of confidence. So especially when I'm trying new things, or when I really need to stop avoiding that one thing on my to-do list that I don't want to do, have that confidence to dive in and tackle it and make that happen. Other times, the things that distract me are being too nervous about things, too worked up. And when you have all those emotions bubbling in your body, you just don't think clearly, right? When you have a lot going on, you need to address that first. If you are emotional about something that's going on in your family or your health or friends or things like that, it is hard to focus because all that emotion is at the forefront of your brain. It's not clear. It's not effective for you. And that's where I bring out my little Stress Away. Stress Away is my calming oil, great for those challenges that I'm juggling life. And I think there is no balance in life. It's just what we decide to juggle. How many things are we going to decide to juggle, and which balls are we okay with letting them fall on the floor for a little while? They're not going anywhere. They'll be there later. We can pick them up. But we just need to decide which ones do we want to put in the rotation to juggle. Stress Away, awesome in the diffuser, awesome to wear as a perfume, or even just make like a room spray of it. If you have coworkers or family members that are also experiencing those same emotions, you can help all of them by either being the human diffuser, wearing it yourself, or diffusing it into the room to have everyone have that benefit as well. The other big thing is energy. A lot of times you just don't have that energy or that drive to work on those to-do list items, right? That's where I find we really need to take a break away, walk away, run up the stairs, walk around the block, or walk around the house, down the street, whatever, and get your blood flowing. Get that movement moving. You're going to get more oxygen into your cells, which then gets more oxygen into your brain, which then helps you think more clearly so that you can utilize that. One of the favorite things I use before I exercise is Raven. So I just put a drop on my chest with a little carrier oil. It is great for opening up your lung capacity because then that's going to help you get that better oxygen in there. So whether it's a brisk walk or whether it's a good exercise workout, all that extra oxygen is going to actually give you all the clarity and energy so that you can dive into it. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been working on a project, you're frustrated, you just can't figure it out, you walk away for a few minutes and all of a sudden you walk back and you're like, oh, it's right there. Like, why didn't I do this before? You have that clarity because you've got your body moving again. And you got the extra oxygen and blood flow to your brain from there too. The other thing that I really like to focus on is just that overall health. When your body is healthy, it's going to work so much better. So when you can focus on your nutrition as well, when you are putting good things into your body, if you Google, there is a whole list of foods that will help you with focus. Or I should say there's a whole list of foods that you should avoid if you're trying to have better focus. And a lot of those are the processed foods with a lot of sugar. My son and I, for health reasons, this past summer have had to make big changes to our food intake, and that included eliminating a lot of processed food and actually cutting our sugar down to 25 grams or less in a day. Doesn't sound like a big deal until you start reading labels. There's sugar in everything. It is shocking. So eliminating sugar initially the first week was a little intense. We kind of had a little withdrawal from that and those cravings. But once we got past that, I was stunned at how not only helpful for my body it was, but how effective it was helping me focus and have that mental clarity. I had no idea that that would make that big of an impact. As well as processed foods. A lot of foods that have high gluten or just those excess carbs that we don't need. Really changing a diet to focus on real foods, proteins, vegetables, fruits, all of those things that our body utilizes and knows how to utilize really well. With processed foods, not as much. But there are times when we're sick or digestion issues get in the way, or we have those food sensitivities, or because of stress, we binge on those foods that are our comfort foods that we really want. So then digest becomes one of my best friends. It's a great one just to apply on your tummy and help relieve those extra concerns. Then it doesn't become a distraction for you. You're worried about your stomach. You're not focusing on, again, your work or what you're doing. Then the other thing, if you just still don't have that energy and you're needing that extra boost, peppermint is my other favorite for that. It is very invigorating and it's a very strong oil, so it's a great one to breathe in, really open up those airways again, but then it also helps give you that extra energy that you need to get that second wind, especially if you're at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you're thinking about that extra cup of coffee or soda or whatever. This can be a really healthy alternative so that you can actually not have those extra caffeine and other problems adding to your digestive system for the day. And then at the end of the day, one of the best things that really helps set you up for the following day is going through and having that gratitude list. As we end our days, most of us are kicking ourselves for not completing all the things that we set out to do. And if that's what we're focused on, that's where our mind is stuck. If we are focused on taking the end of the day for gratitude, looking for those 2 or 3 things that we accomplished or that went really well, and maybe one thing that didn't go so great, but we still learned something from it that we can improve on for tomorrow. Having the appreciation for what went well changes your mindset to be more positive instead of the negative of what I didn't do. And really taking just a few moments to jot that down at the end of each day. A friend of mine challenged me to do that a couple summers ago, and once I started doing it for a month, it was amazing because I started seeing that gratitude all throughout my day. It changed my mindset so that as things were happening throughout the day, I could find appreciation in what was happening, speak that out loud, and influence the people around me to be more positive, and train my kids to be more positive as well. So changing that mindset as you fall asleep will also help you sleep better. But as you wake the next day, you're already starting to look for what you're grateful for as you move throughout your day and setting yourself up for that positive mindset and that success. The last thing I'm going to talk about is sleep. So when we don't sleep, it really impedes our productivity, how much energy we have to get everything done. So sleep and relaxation are really important. My favorite oils for that are lavender and peace and calming. Now, lavender is not necessarily a sleep oil, but a lot of people think it is. And it's because it just has that calming property. When we are calm, we will sleep better. So it does lead us to sleep as well. Peace and calming is another one where your day has just gone awry. Pull this out early. You don't have to wait for bedtime. You can enjoy this right away. Help get yourself calmed, recentered, and get back on track with focusing on that to-do list that you really intended to grab. Otherwise, just using peace and calming all night, or lavender, or even the stress away or frankincense at night. All of these have calming properties that will help your body actually relax. When you can relax, you can actually get to that deep REM sleep. That's where we're restored. Just like a computer, when you shut it down and restart, it kind of wipes the memory, refreshes things, and it works better. Same thing with our brain and our body. We need to get into that REM sleep so that it can actually just flush our brain, clear our body, and we can really start healing our bodies to be healthy, and then helping rebuild our brain and regenerate more brain cells so we can have a more productive day the following day. So sleep is really important. The other challenge I have for you is eliminating those distractions at night. Don't bring your phone to the bedroom. Get a real alarm clock. Utilize that alarm clock and leave that phone on the charger outside of your bedroom, down the hall, some other place where you're not tempted to grab it during the night. You know, just checking the time, but then you end up looking into, oh, somebody else has that notification, all the other people. The other thing that happens when we're sleeping is processing that to-do list or things that we need to remember for tomorrow. And Barb alluded to this earlier. Keep that notepad handy. Put one on your nightstand so that you can just write it down. You don't have to remember it. You just remember it. Jot it down. Do that brain dump before you go to bed. Clears your head from it. If you're still having trouble sleeping, add some cedar wood in with any of those other oils I mentioned before. It is a woodsy smell, but adding it to the other ones makes it a little bit more pleasant. The cedarwood or frankincense will help calm and quiet your mind, so it stops all that extra distraction. Or if you have that really creative mind and you're coming up with those awesome ideas as you're falling asleep, those are the ones that you can help quiet so that you can actually get into that deep REM sleep. Ideally, you're going to be waking up before your alarm, refreshed. So by the time your alarm goes off, you're going to be feeling amazing and ready to dive into your day instead of droning into your day or hitting that snooze button again. Barb, any questions on any of those items or things? Do you do some of those already?
I do. I use frankincense. I use Stress Away as perfume, as you said. I also use Valor. When I am needing to step out of my comfort zone a bit, when I'm challenged. So if have a really big, important meeting, or I have a presentation in front of a large group, I definitely use Valor. And then I've also used lavender and cedarwood. Those are the two that I've used for kind of that end of day, peace and calming, getting ready to go to sleep time of day. So there was one other that I want to go back to. It was Raven. I have not used that. Can you quickly refresh my mind on that one?
So Raven, or you might have RC if you got a kit a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
RC is part of that. So Raven's a little bit different. It has wintergreen in it as well. But again, opening up that lung capacity is fantastic to get that extra oxygen into your body.
I think that's such a great point to make, is that we get wrapped up in what we're doing and we forget to get up and move around. We forget sometimes to eat. We forget to, and I love what you said about when we walk away from something that is taking a long time or frustrating us, oftentimes that 5 or 10 minute break is just what we need to come back, and the answer is right there. The thoughts come in those calm moments when we do walk away and, and take a breather as opposed to pushing through. That's such an important point.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Barb, you shared a lot of great tips. I wrote down plenty of notes as you were talking. Even though we've talked multiple times, I still wrote down more that I heard today as well. So if someone wants to connect with you and learn a little bit more, go a little bit deeper than we did today, how can they do that, or what do you recommend?
So I do both groups and individual coaching. And within that, I do just individual quick sessions, or I do packages. And so I'm going to actually hold this up for maybe the lighting. There we go. Oh, is it backwards? No? Okay. On my end, it's backwards. So there's my contact information. So my phone number is 847-302-3706 if you want to text me or give me a call. And my email is vestigocoaching@gmail.com. And then my website is vestigocoaching.com. And you can find me and get a hold of me at any of those. And I would love to share more tips or jump into any individual situations that you're really feeling stuck in and work through an individual solution for you. So how about you, Paula? How can people get in touch with you to get some of these fabulous oils?
Yes, I have some of my classes coming up, and I have a big calendar on my website called getoiling.com/Paula Johnson, and I'll be posting more events there. I have live events, or for those across the nation, I have online events where they can utilize a lot of that information too. The oils that I talked about today are actually part of one of our 60% off bundles. So it's a huge savings opportunity because Young Living knows these are the ones that you will use on a regular basis. I have hundreds of oils you can see behind me here, but these 12 that I referenced are the ones that I go back to consistently and use because not only for the purposes that I mentioned today, but they also have other purposes too. So if you're interested in that, I would love to connect with you and help you get that 60% discount and to be able to enjoy that. Or if you just want to find out more, I have other free classes and opportunities that you can come and join me there. My website is getoiling.com/Paula Johnson, or you can find my Facebook group called Happy, Healthy, and Young Living. We share some of the information there, or we also have another private group where we do online classes for all kinds of uses. I find many people have essential oils in their home, but they're not sure what to do with it other than put a few drops in their diffuser. So that is my goal, to make sure their bottles are not getting shoved to the back of the cupboard and dusty, that they're actually using them so that it can be happier and healthier and focused and achieving those dreams that they want and have that increased productivity to be successful, like we talked about today.
So Happy, Healthy, and Young Living is your Facebook page. I'm going to check that out. Perfect. Thank you so much, Paula, for getting together with me and sharing some of our tips. I really hope that everybody finds these tips and strategies to be helpful for you, and let us know what you would want to hear more about, because I know we both have extended knowledge on a variety of topics and we could go more in depth, and I'd love to do this again sometime.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Barb. I enjoyed doing this together with you, and again, learning more and more every time I talk with you. It's amazing. So thank you so much.
All right.